Okay, so we don't add the comment and we don't come up all our styling, so our CSS not going to work anymore, but it dey the code. I think we clean all this CSS we dey here now. So you could just press Ctrl A to select all. That will select everything we dey our CSS file or everything we dey our file, and then we could just press delete. Make we press save, and then make we go clean our index.html file. So we will go into our index.html. We'll come clean, make we clean the buttons. So we'll say clean the buttons here. Make we clean this button container. Make we clean all the headings and leave only one heading. So we'll clean the heading. So a heading, a div, and all our images could do this div, and another image could do this div. Make we check our code. All right, so everything look as we want. So let's say we want to change the background color. We don't already do this before, so just as a refresher, we could just go inside our CSS, and this is I did inside my CSS now. You can say we want style background color. So we'll say body. So we first choose the selector. So we say we want to select the body. We'll come add our curly braces, and inside this curly braces, we can say we want the background. So say dash color, right? Then after you press the background color, you'll come type, so shift and color, and then you'll type the color where you want type for us. So make we try one color, say tomato. So we'll say tomato, like doing tomato. So just press semicolon on my keyboard. So now if I press save and then go back into our browser, you can see the color don't change to tomato. So how else if you use add colors to our CSS? Well, you get different ways where if you add colors. And first, if you use the value, if you just give them a name, but that means that the browser could need know this color, tomato. But what if the browser don't even know tomato? At that time, you could come add, say, you want to use RGB, you want to use hex code. So make we first talk about the RGB. So the RGB way to do them, now say we go just quickly make I duplicate this code. So I go duplicate this one, then I Ctrl Shift D to duplicate a line. I will clean this code for here. Then I could say I want to do RGB. That now red for R, G for green, and B for blue. That are the only colors we need. And with that color, we can create any kind of color for this word we want. So the R, we could first say we want to make them from 0 to 255. So 255 now the highest number, right? 0 go be the lowest, which means 255 go be white and 0 go be black. So we'll say, okay, since we want red, make I change this tomato to red. So we'll say red. So since we want this red now, we go say we want 255, and that's for red. And then we're gonna need set the green. So we go say green, go keep it space, and then go press for the second parameter for inside this parentheses. So we go come put 0, and then the third parameter or the third argument go be 0. So we go say 0, and now you just say it will show exactly like the red way we get for up here, even though we spell them red. So just always keep one thing in mind. Say R na red, G na green, and B na blue. So this go be R, the 255, and this go be green, the middle one, and the last argument go be blue. So make we see how we fit add hex code also. So again, make we close this one. So you go press semicolon, and then we go press Ctrl Shift D to duplicate. Once we duplicate this line, make we come out this code for here. So we'll hold Shift, and then we go highlight this one, delete that, make we write hash, and then we go write the color we define. So the color we defined, just like before, now red. So we go say FF, then it will be white for here, because on hex code, we only have from 0 to 255, right? Then at the RGB. So if you just get the lowest value, go be 00, and then the highest value go be FF, then at the white. So we go say, okay, since we want this red, we can say we want the highest value of red. Then we can say we want the lowest value of black, which is 00, just like this one here. Then we go say, okay, we want the last value, because now it's not yet complete. Even though they show like this, no stress, so it's not yet complete. Then we'll say we want the last value, and the last one we go say we want 00, and now it will change to red. So you can see that we can always create the same thing using just this spelling, which the browser will need to get. So make I add comments here. So let's see how if we even change the colors for here. So if you say, okay, we want to make it be blue. So you go say, all right, to be blue, we could just change this one back to 0, for example. We say 0, we'll say 0. And then here, we'll change it to 255, and that's a blue. If we say we want to make this one be green, so we go look this green. So remember, say this now R, and this first two, this F, go be R here. And then this next two here, this next two go be green, and then this one too go be blue. So make we try change that color. Okay, let's fix that. So now we can see we have the red as red. We have the RGB as these values here inside the RGB colors, which is because we want the blue as the last parameter for inside this RGB parenthesis here. And then we go say we want green by writing the F or the highest value for inside our hex code. Always remember, say hex code, they always get this hash. So in case you don't even know how to write your hex code or where to get them, luckily for us, VS Code don't give us this one. So if they change the hex code for here, and it will give us any color we want, and it will give us the hex code. So that's how we add colors. So make we see whether if we save our code, we go see them. So press save, and then if we look inside our browser, you can see the color don't change to green. That's because this green here now the last styling for background where we add for the bottom for the last one. If we move them up, you go see say it no go show again green. Now, what if say we no like this our green background? What if we want to make the background date different? Maybe say we fit get like image or something for the background. Make we see how we fit add background image for inside this our ugly thing. So we could just add them for say, and then we'll erase the code eventually. Make we see how we fit do them. So if I go back inside our VS code for here, I go like change the properties where we get as our CSS properties. So the first thing where we fit do, instead of saying this background color, I go like change this our background color to background image. But first of all, we're going to need to get an image. So where can we get an image? Well, we can use any image on the website, but we'll just go our index.html file and grab an image from there. So make we go back into index.html and then make we grab the image. So we remember say we want this image for here. So we'll just take this style for here, then we'll come into our CSS. When we come into our CSS, make we clean all this background right here. Make we clean now, and then we'll get rid of that. Then we'll say we want to make the background image. Make the background image equals to an image, right? So we're going to give an image. So I'm going to take an image after the colon. We're going to write the URL. So we'll say URL. Then inside this parentheses for this URL, inside this bracket right here for this URL, we'll go add the link where we want. So to add the link, we're going to need add a string. So we'll just say quotes, single quotes, or double quote, I think. So you can now paste that link into this quote. Make sure say it is inside the quote. So if I press save now, the background of our website will come change to the picture, to this picture where we get for here. So make we try go back into our browser. And we see say now we don't get this picture where we get for from Unsplash, we don't use them as our background image. Or but you see say the image they repeat itself. Well, we get another property for that which will help us stop to the repeat the image. It is called background repeat. So we will go back into our VS code. We could go. So now inside VS code, we'll come write the background repeat. So we'll say background dash repeat, and then we go to colon. And after that colon, you can say no dash repeat. All right, that's not the value of this background repeat. So we'll say we don't want any background make it repeat or make it no. Then we'll come close them. Whenever you write your CSS, always remember to add your semicolon to close them. If you know close them, you will get error. So make they get bugs or issue for your code, make they frustrated. Always remember to follow the rules. So close your code. If not, the computer not go understand. Say this not close. Say you don't talk finish. Say your conversation don't talk. So make we close them. If you save the code, the background image go can change to only one background image. You go see say now when we open the browser, we get only one background image. So now when we don't know how to add this background image of a thing, why be say we go fit just get them for only one position? Why we no fit get them for the middle? Why we no fit look for the picture? How we fit do them everywhere? So make we see. In order to change the background position, we go need to do one simple thing, which now background position. Now inside VS Code, we could just go to the next line, go press enter. You go say background dash position. So you go change the background position. You press colon, and after that colon, give a space. Then you can say you want to move it to the right. We will say we want to make the background position move to right for here. Now, as we don't press right, if I press save now, you go see say the picture with the our web page as background picture, it go come move to the right. So if I press save and we go back our preview, if we see say we can't look our preview, we could come see say now the picture don't move as a background image, which means if it dey there, if we use anything for them, it could just dey as our background. Now make we see how else we fit even change something for inside this background. So if we go back our VS Code, we go fit add another property to our background. Which property be that? We go fit add background position. And background position fit show if you not show for you. So I could just say background position and set that background position to fixed. So that means say the background position, it go just stay fixed all the time. You not gonna get wahala, you not gonna disturb us, it could just stay our code. So make we save them and then make we go our preview. Now for inside our preview, you're not gonna see them, but you can, if I scroll down a bit, you go see say this picture, it just stay there. So make I just quickly show you. You don't have to do this. I'm just gonna show you. So I'm going to open up my dev tool. So make I just increase the size of my body. For inside this body here, we go say, okay, we want to change this body style to something else. So we say we want to increase the height. Make I increase the height. Let's say it's 600. Now our site don't be very long now. You can see say the background, it just stay there. If you close them, you go say the background go change, it go stay for the whole place. But why the background just a show for just this one side? How we go fit make the whole thing bigger? When we say we go fit see our side and we go fit see our whole background to change. So make we go inside our VS Code. And for inside VS Code, we go come say we want background size. So we go say background. Let me change that. Background size. Then we can change. So you get different options. You get auto, you get content, and you get cover. And now when we go change down to cover, you go see say the picture now, it go come spread all over the site. We go come see them, we go come they work as we expect. You know, they show one side again. The picture don't they work as our background. It don't they show all over our web page, and now it even looks much more professional. So if I say make I increase the size now or make the size just change, you go always get this picture for here. If the picture no go they move, you could just stay inside our web page all the time, because we don't set the size and we don't set the position and we don't set every other thing we need. But for now, that's all we need to learn. I will see you now for the next video. Thank you.